Welcome back to ATL Day Ones. I'm Tenitra, that's Jarvis, and we appreciate you guys for rocking with us on a Friday. Hope that you are able to get out and enjoy the beautiful day. But before you do, of course, we always appreciate you stopping by and joining us. So whether you check us out on YouTube and subscribe and like and follow us, or whether you check us out on any platform where you check out your audio podcast, as well as give us a 5-star review. We want you to know for all of it, we are certainly grateful. And you know what else? For your two petty co-hosts for ATL Day Ones, we're always grateful when Nick
Yes.
Saban gives us something to work with. I mean, literally, it's like dropping gifts on us. Gift that keep, and the
Yeah,
wait,
man.
Jarvis, it gets better. It's the gift that keeps on giving because he won't stop talking. So the start of the college football season is upon us. Can you believe it? 100 days away. So I can't wait until you and I get to dive into that and start talking about some of the great games that we'll be covering this fall. But yeah, 100
Yes.
days away from college football season, the start of that, 2 weeks away from the SEC meetings. But Nick Saban couldn't wait for either one of those things to weigh in on name, image, and likeness. So he's in Birmingham on Wednesday to promote the summer games, but also with some of the top echelon businessmen in Birmingham. So the conversation somehow,
Interesting.
you know where I'm going with that. So the conversation somehow comes to name, image, and likeness because folks who make that money want to try to regulate the money that goes to players who actually play on the
Right.
field. But anyway, so that conversation happens. They want to get Nick's thoughts. And of course, Coach Saban is more than happy to go in. But it wasn't so much just the general things that he said, right? When he's talking about NIL in general. It's the specifics when you start coming for folks like coming for Jimbo Fisher and coming for Texas A&M, coming for Deion Sanders, coming for Jackson State, and talking out of the side of your neck about those folks. You should not come for them because they didn't send for you, and both of them had words. So Jimbo Fisher in particular stated that he said, quote, it was despicable. No rules are broken. And I'm quoting him, nothing was done wrong. It's a shame you got to sit here and defend 17-year-old kids. And I love that he said that, Jarvis, because sometimes people like to treat these young men like they're men, but they're young men. They're still kids at the end of the day. And then he goes on to say, and families in Texas A&M, because we do things right, we're doing a heck of a job. And it's despicable. Some people think they're God, meaning Saban. Go dig into how God got his deal. And then Jackson State, of course, Deion Sanders comes back with basically saying, hey, I'm not interested in a private chat because you told public lies. So if we want to have a conversation about this, we're going to have a conversation in a public setting. Now, Saban's sound off may have fired up the Crimson Tide faithful. Sounds like maybe that was one of the reasons he did what he did. But Jarvis, do you think, especially with the possibility and some of the renaissance that's going on in HBCU land, could this have possibly turned off recruits away from, say, that PWI program to HBCUs? And I don't want to keep it limited to that, but that's one aspect of recruits that may be turned off. But maybe even recruits overall who are always vacillating year to year on which SEC blue chip they're gonna choose.
You know what? I'm gonna start with the PWI piece first,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think that it's. I think Nick Saban is going to continue to get those big boy recruits. I don't think
Yeah,
that those comments are going to change that. That's why I was
yeah.
questioning yesterday on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you complaining? Like,
Right,
why? Like, so you because you're not getting all of them. That's
right.
why you're complaining. I'm just like, come on, dude. Like, that's a thing called gluttony here. Like, I think you not need to just chill and just shut up and coach, man. Just don't do that. But I think that it will probably turn off some guys.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of maybe getting five stars, he may
Yeah.
get three. So a couple of those guys might jump ship to go to Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Or though a couple of guys might go jump ship and go to USC because
Right.
they like what
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley got going on out there. He's snatching up Bolitnikoff Award winners from
Right.
Pittsburgh, from the ACC. And I'm just sitting like, wow, like Jordan
Wow.
Addison is out here about to get this money. Let's go, man. Go get that bread. But yeah, I think that, but I think overall, though, I don't think it's going to hurt him
Right.
too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that, but as far as the HBCU piece goes, I think that I don't think there's going to be a mass exodus of 5-star recruits going down to HBCUs. I'm not saying that, but here's my thing, and here's what I absolutely love: the fact that he mentioned the HBCU, the fact that he brought those things to light and pointed those things out. And not necessarily they'll be drawn because he said, you know, or what, $1 million or however, or they're getting the bag or what, all that stuff.
Right.
It's just the fact that the HBCUs has the attention of a guy like Nick Saban, and they may seep into the mind of a 5-star recruit. Like, you know what? I kind of like what Travis Hunter did.
Yeah.
You know, like he was the first 5-star recruit ever to go to FCS school. And that's including PWIs on that level as well. So I think that, you know, this is not a seismic shift, but it is a thought. And if the fact that a thought is coming before, you know, you say, hey, I want to go to this big boy school as a 5-star recruit, I think that's progress. And I love progress when it comes to, you know, these guys at these, you know, that are big time recruits and they're actually at least considering going to a HBCU.
Agreed. And then, and like you said, not that we are saying that it just is about the PWI and what bounce it could potentially get to the HBCU or what was stated about this particular HBCU in Jackson State, but also just saying, hey, if that's going to get some attention, we are not mad about the attention that it gets. And listen, there's somebody else. And I say else, but there could be others who are not mad about that as well. We already talked about it. Kirby Smart is sitting back looking at this going. Meanwhile, I'm over here dedicating $80 million improvements to the football, to the football program and the football facilities. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. That's just for starters what we're doing right now. So you also look at that as while you are over here bickering back and forth with Jimbo Fisher and trying to touch Deion Sanders, I'm just going to be over here continuing to recruit at a high level and continuing to be the one who arguably replaces Dabo Swinney in the Clemson program as Alabama's chief nemesis, right? So he's over there watching this going, I'm still winning. Now, the other thing is, Jarvis, and this is just my quick devil's advocate question to you, and that is, do you believe that Nick Saban helped or maybe hurt his cause in terms of the apology? Because, you know, this is the kind of society that we live in, right, wrong, or indifferent, whether you agree or disagree, it can be a cancel culture society, right? So he was probably concerned about that cancel culture, comes back on Thursday, issues a mea culpa and an apology, although he still got basically reprimanded from the SEC, both Fisher and him. But he goes on this apology tour on SiriusXM. And my question to you was, does that help or hurt that he went on this apology tour in terms of kind of retracting or redacting what he said the day before?
For me, I'm indifferent, you know, because when you think about it, he still said, he said what he said. You know, it's like he still feels the same way about it. And I think that's the issue. Like, how can you feel a certain way about something that's actually legal? Like, you can go out and get an NIL deal because these guys are allowed to have people who handle those type of things, as long as the coaches aren't out there doing it and you know, passing out duffel bags full of money, which he used to do. You know, like that's why I didn't understand why he was trying to come at Deion. Deion been in the league. He has relationships with everybody. He used to work at NFL Network. He used to cover the draft for 14 years. You know, so he understands. He had conversations, so he knows Saban passing out the bag. So I think that, you know, when you have a situation like this one, you know, it just, I think Saban just kind of just needs to chill out. You know, when it comes to these type of situations, and, you know, get to a point where, like, just embrace it, man. Just embrace it. So, you know, and I don't want to hear your apology. Just embrace this is the new era. And if you don't like it, you can kick rocks and you'll still go off to be one of the better college footballs ever to coach the game.
Yeah, but I think ultimately this is what a certain group of people do. Privileged folks, right? I'm just going to go with privileged. Privileged people always want to see themselves as the protector that is always good and right with the game. And sometimes it's like, you know the problem. My time did a problem, though, T. Right. You always Right. You whine and complain and whine about
Right.
something until you have to make the shift. Like, remember a couple years ago when he was the loudest person in the room about the speed of the game and how the game was changing and it was
Lord.
essentially kind of damaging the tradition or the authenticity of college football. Oh, and then you shifted and you started getting the dual threat
You hired
quarterback
Lane
and the
Kiffin
wide
and
receivers who
start
were
recruiting all over the
world
place.
class
Yeah.
track
Okay.
stars and
Yeah.
stuff and things.
All
Oh,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
Just checking. But
Yeah.
okay, but okay, if you want to purport yourself as the protector of all things that is right with the game and the person who highlights everything that's wrong with this NIL in the game, okay, well then, if that's what you want to say, do you? Ooh, but Jarvis, you and I on October 8th are going to be just like the rest of the world, watching what's going on at Bryant-Denny Stadium in
Yes.
Tuscaloosa when
Yes,
Texas
Lord.
A&M descends
Mm-hmm.
on Tuscaloosa for what
Yes.
is going to be a super duper showdown. Even all the fireworks
It's gonna be a
throughout the
wrestling
week.
match.
It is. It is. And it's really going to be one this
Cutting
entire season.
promos.
Yeah, because real talk is going to be one this entire season because this conversation is never going to go away. You have SEC spring meetings in 2 weeks, and then you have media days coming in the middle of summer. So when they want to speak on it again, we are more than happy to speak on it again. And when we come back for the culture, we're going to speak a little bit on Greg Olson and his next turn. You want to know what it is? Check us out on the other side. It's day one's ATL on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Check us out. Check out our group, and we will see you on the other side.